Hello, my crazy family. Welcome back to Mac Music Review. Before we hop into the review, just want to say there's going to be some stuff down in the description if you want to know how the channel works, if you want to know what I'm reviewing next, what I already have reviewed, all that good stuff is down in the description. Today, we are going to be looking at the album Supernatural by DC Talk. If you are watching this video for some reason and you don't know who DC Talk is, I don't know what you're doing. DC Talk is a Christian rap group, like the OG Christian rap group. I don't know if they actually were the OGs. They're definitely the most famous, the most popular Christian rap group. They were actually very commercially successful in their time. I actually heard that they even got radio play on secular radio for at least one song on their album Jesus Freak, their most legendary, groundbreaking, famous album, known as like a classic album for Christian music. But this album follows in the trends of the album Jesus Freak. It actually came right after Jesus Freak. It's the next album. And I think this is actually their last major label album that's not like a live album or live album or a compilation or a greatest hits or anything like that. This was their last actual album. And like Jesus Freak, it's actually not a rap record. In fact, the rapper of the group, Toby McKenneth, I don't know how to say his name, I think that's right, is barely even on this record, and he doesn't really rap. I mean, he's on like one song. I literally think he's only on one song on this album, and that is My Friend. Yeah, Toby Mac, the three members of DC Talk are Kevin Max, that's the black guy. No, what am I, oh, I'm sorry. Kevin Max is the white guy. They're two white guys. The rapper's white, Toby Mac is white, Kevin Max is white. The black guy is Michael Tate. He's actually now the lead singer of Newsboys. He's actually been with Newsboys for a while and has brought insane commercial success to Newsboys. Has been very, very successful with Newsboys. Kevin Max is the other guy on this album. Kevin Max and Michael Tate get almost equal time on this album. They kind of trade verses, they trade lines, and they actually do complement each other pretty well. But Kevin Max is a really small name in Christian music right now. He's very creative. He's the only one that hasn't gone really big and commercial. Kevin Max's music is very creative. It's very original. It's very much made for a small audience, unlike Toby Mac and Newsboys music. But this album has 14 tracks. Two of them, the first and the last, are like intros or interludes. It's an intro and an outro. And these songs serve the purpose and the theme of the album cover. Especially the last song, There Is a Treason at Sea, which has, you can like hear the boat rocking, and it's this poetry about the sea. And the album cover is really cool. It's like a shape that looks like this, and then there's a ship in the middle, and it's like rocking. It's like black and white. It's a cool album cover, really cool album cover for this album. And the intro and outro tie into the album cover and tie into the album thematically. I've been stalling for a little while. I should get to the actual album. Let's talk about this thing. The music first. This is a grunge album. That's what this music is. If you look, the AllMusic review, which I think is one of AllMusic's worst reviews, said that this album uses a ton of different kinds of music and a bunch of different styles that are popular in an attempt to get as much radio play as possible. And I think it didn't really work. One of the songs became popular, the song My Friend. Everything else, and then Consume Me. Those two were popular. But everything else wasn't super popular. This album, yeah, a lot of different... It sounds like an old album. It sounds like an album that was made in the 90s. It was made in 1999, but it definitely sounds like an album that was made in the 90s. You have a lot of rock music. Some of it is really upbeat and energetic, like on the song Supernatural, or the first real song. And then some of the songs like Consume Me or Red Letters are really slow and kind of worshipful, kind of to highlight the God-centered worshipful lyrics, or the very Christian lyrics. As far as the lyrics go, the lyrics on this album, most of them are very Christian. They're very God-centered, they're very faith-centered, but you really do have a lot of stuff going on here. You have some lyrics like on Dive, which are very creative, and some of the lyrics are very dramatic. Some of them are really original or a little bit offbeat and weird. Well, Kevin Max brings his creativity and poetry to some of this album, especially the outro, and You even have some songs, God Sent is actually a love song. It is a love song where he's talking about an angel, but the angel isn't an actual angel, it's a woman. So it's a love song. It's like, what? Christian love song? What is this? But yeah. You even have some self-aware lyrics on the song My Friend where they're talking about what other people are saying about them. That is a really fun upbeat music on that song. It's review time. Is this album good or bad? Let's talk about that. Before I say anything, I'm going to say that this is probably not a great review. Just going to get that out there. Because I really don't listen to this kind of music. I don't listen to 90s music. This is even though it was made right at the end of the 90s, it just sounds old. It is old rock music. It's old alternative rock music with some other stuff thrown in. And I don't think I can really be a great judge of that kind of music because I have little knowledge of that, and I've reviewed almost no 90s music. That's like not something that I've done. And so if this review is bad, if I'm just a bad judge of this music, then shame on me, but I think this album sounds pretty good. To me, the music sounds really high quality, really enjoyable. The slow songs, there's a lot of layers to the music. There's a lot of depth, there's a lot of stuff going behind it. A lot of different instrumentation, a lot of different guitar, a lot of different instrumentation. And some of these songs just sound really good. Dive and My Friend is an amazing song. This is an excellent song. The music is so upbeat and fun, and it just gets really energetic at the end. It's insanely catchy. This is easily like one of my all-time favorite DC Talk songs. It is so enjoyable. It is just a crazy enjoyable song. I would say the lyrical content of this record is actually pretty solid. A lot of the lyrics are really faith-centered, are really God-centered, and I say DC Talk really has their lyrics in the right place on this album. I don't know why the AllMusic review, I literally think that's one of the worst AllMusic reviews I've ever read. They just went really hard on this album criticizing it, and they said that one of the reasons they gave for criticizing it was they said it didn't really have Christian lyrics or something, and I don't know why they said that. That's really weird because it definitely does. The only song on here that lyrically doesn't work for me is God Sent. It's a love song and it's awkward. It literally sounds awkward. That song really doesn't sound great. But other than that, the lyrics on this album, some of them are really creative, some of them are really interesting. A lot of them, it's just well written. It just sounds high quality, good songwriting. I would say the vocal deliveries on this album are good. It's a little bit lacking when compared to their other work in that Toby Mac really is barely on the record. He's just trying to block it. Oh, the light looks terrible. He is barely on this record, literally only on the song My Friend. And he brings a lot of charisma to the band. He brings a lot of energy that I feel like is kind of lacking, and it could really help out some of these other songs. But I do think Kevin Max and Michael Tate have good chemistry together. I think they both do a good job on this album. They both, it really brings something to this album that there are two singers rather than just one, like in most bands. So that's cool. Also worth noting, I think There Is a Treason at Sea is one of the best outros, one of the best non-songs I've ever heard. It ties in so perfectly with the album cover, mostly with the album cover, but also with the theme of the album, the supernatural theme of the album. Also, this is one of my favorite album covers. I think it's super cool, made even better by that outro, which ties everything together. It is a really cool outro. It's spoken word poetry by Kevin Max. Does a fantastic job. Great delivery, great background noises and everything. It's just really well made. Great outro. I'm gonna give this album 4 stars out of 5. This really isn't my best review. I remember when I wrote this review, I didn't really listen to this album a ton leading up to this video review, but I'm pretty sure when I wrote it, I didn't listen to it a ton beforehand. And like I said, I just don't really listen to 90s music. I've listened to some Nirvana, but not a lot. Not very often. So, this might be a bad review. Tell me what you think. Tell me if you think I got it wrong or if I got it right or whatever, if you care. Thank you.